Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in to the Hull Say It Best podcast. During this episode, I am joined by George Barmby, who is a massive Hull City fan, and some of you may already know him from being the son of Nick Barmby, the Hull City legend. Now, plenty is discussed during this episode. I don't want to give anything away in a spoiler, so please sit back, relax, and enjoy. And whatever platform you are watching or listening on, please hit that subscribe button because it really does help. Thank you very much.
Without any further ado, I just want to jump into this, and I don't know if none of the other episodes have gone live yet, but George, what I do try and do on these episodes is just try and run through a bit of a life story with yourself, see where it all started. So, number one, where I'm going to go is, where did it all start for you? Where was you born? I'd like to think you was a Hull lad, but where was you born?
Yeah, you'll be happy to know my dad's been from Hull, although he was on the road. He always wanted me and my brother. Well, he wanted me and my brother to be born in Hull, but he never got my brother to be born in Hull. He's actually was in when he was at Tottenham, and he was born in Essex, whereas he didn't want me to be born in London. He didn't want me to be down south. He wanted me to be back where he was. So I was born in Castle Hill in Hull.
Oh, nice, Castle Hill. That is a name that we all know, right? Absolutely. So, growing up in Hull, then I guess I've wrote out a lot of questions I want to ask you, and we're probably going to jump around all over the place. And growing up in Hull, the first thing I kind of think of, with your dad being the person he is, did you have to move around to different places all the time, or was you pretty much stuck in Hull and then your dad would come back on certain times, etc.? How did that work?
Yeah, I was pretty lucky actually. So, with being the youngest, I didn't have to move around. So, whereas my brother did get the kind of back end of the state, he had to move around quite a bit, but I didn't have it. So I'd always been quite settled at Hull. So growing up, Hull's all ever new. So it's, for me, it was nice because the type of person I was, I'm a proper home bed. I love Hull a bit. I'll stay here until I die. So because I just can't. Yeah, I just love it. I tried to move it. Tried it for 2 months, couldn't do it.
Where did you go?
I went to America. So
oh right.
I get ragged for that now because it was quite funny at the time because everyone made a big thing of it. I had like a leave-in do and everything.
Oh.
You know? It was awful. So I basically, what happened was, obviously we'll talk about it later on, but after I'd kind of finished football up here, I got off to go for a scholarship there. So I tried to move away I tried to move to South Carolina. As soon as I got there, I knew I went, last year. Can't do it.
Really?
And I didn't. 2 months later, back. Yeah.
Oh, really? So I've told you about the charity team I play for. There's two lads that play for us, the brothers, and they grew up in, I believe it was Florida. So they've only ever played soccer. You know, and they don't get me wrong, the whole lads, the parents are from Hull and stuff like that, but they bang on about how good of an experience it was, you know, in terms of playing in the college stadiums and stuff like that. Like, it must have been such a dream that. I'm playing on Orchard Park Field on a Sunday, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's very different.
Exactly.
You know what? A few of my mates did it and they loved it. And a lot of people that do it love it. Like, you know, if you've got that personality to do it, I'd recommend it to anyone. But I just didn't. I mean, I had a long-term girlfriend at home, close family, just struggled, you know, just really did. And so I still get ragged for it now, but this massive leaving do for me. Big night, all went out for food. There's loads of us, must be about 25 of us, all saying bye to me. I'm the next player.
Oh man, I couldn't imagine. Yeah, absolutely rinsed to that. I can imagine. Am I right by saying Jack's out in America now as well?
He's not anymore.
I know. No. Yeah, Wiki needs to be updated.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? I saw that. He was there 6 years, but he's come back now. So he's had a total change of plan now. Jack had a great time out there, seeing all of America. Jack's very different to me. He loved it, you know.
Yeah.
He didn't go scholarship. He was actually a pro.
Oh, so no.
He was at Portland in Oregon, which I went out, beautiful part of the world as well.
Just for 2 weeks at a time, though. No.
Yeah. It's probably the most closest to England you're going to get in America with, like, how it feels as a place. It's very green. The people there are really nice, and it's probably I've been to America a couple of times to see Jack. He moved around, like I said, he went to Portland, he went to Texas, and he finished in Arizona. Went to a few places, and Portland felt more homely, than Texas. Texas is wild place. I mean,
I can imagine. I can imagine Texas being like that. To be honest,
the cowboy souls. It's true.
really, just man's just cowboy hat on, riding a bull on a weekend. So yeah, proper ticking the stereotypes there, aren't we? So okay, then. So you grew up in Hull. You did move away, apart from the 2 months. I'll edit that part out, don't worry. We'll dodge that. But football itself, then this kind of makes a little bit of sense, and I kind of want to delve into this a little bit then. So if you didn't like being away, did you commute to Derby for the under 14s then?
Yeah. So I never moved down there. I mean, I was obviously still in school at the time. And what we did was, well, I played Sunday League prior to that. Well, my dad was very, very adamant that he never wanted me and Jack to go to an academy until we were at least 14, 15.
Yeah.
Because he says, if you go to an academy at aged 8, like some of these kids are doing now, you miss out on so much in your childhood.
Yeah.
You're training 3 times a week. You play on weekends, going here, there, and everywhere. You're missing time with your friends like you should be, And at the time, I didn't really understand it. But now I get it, because seeing these lads now, going to academies at 8 years old, some of them get released at 14, and they've just missed out years of, playing football.
Exactly. Do you know what? You'll probably agree with me. Those are probably the most important times of the year to start building those social skills. And if all the only social skills you've got are being around football friends, football friends, it's one of them, isn't it? You're just going to be around that sort of thing all the time, and you're going to struggle adapting to people that do different things to you. So no, I get that greatly. So the community itself, who took you? Was that your dad or your mum?
No, so actually, well, we mixed up a bit. My cousin called Kate at the time. So she, before I went to Derby, Jack was at Man United, and she would take Jack to Manchester because Jack could do the same. He'd live at home, but when it rained, so yeah, we commuted like twice. So for me, training was 3 times. Well, we had a thing at the time called day release. So on a Monday, we wouldn't actually go to school. I'd go to Derby for the day, and I'd do schoolwork in the morning, and then we'd train in the afternoon. And that was just on a Monday. But then Tuesdays and Thursdays we're training on the night, so we commute, and then games on Saturday as well. So it was a lot. It was a lot of travelling, and it took out of me. I'll be honest. Like at the time, definitely, I was knackered all the time.
That's like I said, that can't be easy because you've got to try and concentrate on schoolwork, and you're doing your 12 times tables in the car on the way down there, or whatever it is, or. God knows what was going on then. Was it audiobooks? Could you have done that? But you get the gist, right? You're having to learn whilst being in the car. I mean, I can't even read my phone for 5 minutes while the missus is driving. So
it was, and it was difficult. It was a lot to adjust. It was a lot to adjust to. Definitely 100%. Especially kind of be quite young as well.
So staying on the trend of being young, then, whilst you're young, your dad's playing for all these different teams. You're obviously going to be seeing a lot of big names at the time, right? I remember being 8, looking at footballers going, wow, look at him. You was amongst them. What did that feel like?
Oh, I mean, it was an amazing experience. I mean, that's what drove me. I mean, growing up as a kid and seeing my dad, play at all these stadiums, going to watch him, people coming up to him. It was like, it was unbelievable. Like, to think, that's my dad, that everyone loves him. In respects, for especially Hull. I mean, Hull,
yes,
because there's just so much respect there, for my dad, and I think that's amazing to see because in being from Hull and the fans obviously seeing everything he'd done and then how much he loves Hull, it was just a brilliant experience. I mean, a lot of my time that I remember is in being at Hull. I don't remember, from the Premier League clubs that I used to play for, whereas my brother does, but. My time was predominantly at Hull, but I came in, I think, an amazing time to see my dad joining and going right up the leagues. What time?
It's 2005, was it? 2006 when he joined us? Off the top of my head, that is. Should have done research, but I'm sure it's 2005, 2006 on that one.
Yeah, it's massive.
Yeah, I remember that. It was a bonus electrical one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
What about memorabilia? Have you got much of his memorabilia? Does he pass it down, or is it?
yeah, I like to keep, a bit of what he has, and he's had, like I say, a fantastic career. Anyone that knows my dad is he's the most private guy in the world. He's the most, family kind of guy. He doesn't, but he's collected some things over the years that would obviously get to charities and things like that. It was great at the time, but there's still a couple of things that I like to keep hold of his, but we're not even important things really. I mean, it was even things like old. It wasn't even match shirts. It was all like jumpers, like for warm-up jumpers and things like that. But
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, it'd be the stuff you remember him in, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly that. So that makes so much more sense. So we're still staying on the trend of being young. You must have known you was different at some points, like the other people in your school. Like not everybody's got a celebrity or international footballer or a household name as a dad. At what point did it start to settle in that I'm a little bit different?
I think
if you felt that way, that is. I mean, did you feel that way?
Yeah, no, there were times. Yeah, being this stuck-up idiot, who walks around and thinks he owns place, and I used to get that a lot when I was younger. People, as if they found out, that's Nick Barmby's son, you get automatically, he's an idiot,
Unconscious bias, yeah.
They never even spoke to me. And he's like, well, just give me a chance first, at least. You go with that after, fair enough. At least have a conversation. Yeah, and I'd get that a few times. But then, if you get a lot of people coming up to you going, I love your dad. And you get the nice bit with it, which is, great. So I knew it was, in terms of, like, socially, it was kind of stuff like that. And, and my dad being a lot bigger in the name in Hull than anywhere else, so it didn't happen. It still happens, in other places, don't get me wrong, because people recognize the dad, and if I'm with him, it can be, again, but it's still a nice experience that people still want to have a picture with him and things like that.
I mean, I'll tell you now, if I saw him, I'd want a picture of him. So I'll tell you that straight. I mean,
yeah. You'd have to go, right, you'd have to go on his tiptoes, though, because he's only that big person, isn't he?
Yeah, I know, he's a short guy, right? I mean, I'll just dip down. I don't mind. I'll let him up again. I'll take the hit. Cheers, Nick. I'll take that.
Yeah. But in the football sense, I knew that like things were different in the football sense because you were constantly compared.
Yeah, 100%. I can only imagine that. Like when it comes to like training or your Sunday league team or something, I can imagine there's so much expectation on you to. Oh, that's Barmby's lad. I wouldn't expect Barmby's lad to do that,
And the worst thing for us, like, I know Jack probably got it as well, but Jack to me sounds on a different level to me. Jack was like technically gifted. I wasn't like technically gifted football. I just like had to work hard, for kind of to improve. As Jack just came naturally. We're very much different in the sense, but in football, I mean, my dad at 16 was playing in the first team at Tottenham, so I could, at 16 I was Scunthorpe in the youth. So it was quite. We were on the same level, and but you'd still get away.
The slate's real. He's gone there.
Yeah, I'd rather be at Scunthorpe anyway. I don't want to play in the Tottenham's first team at 16.
It's only 30 minutes away. I'd rather do that, right?
Who's bothers? I'd rather play at Clanford Park than White Hart or whatever it's called now.
I mean, do they have a ground now?
Yeah.
I tell you what, we could be going down a dangerous track there, couldn't we? But while we're here, how did it feel playing for Scunthorpe? How did it feel putting on that awful kit?
The colours are great. I don't know what you're talking about. I think it's lovely.
Look at you gassing him up. Okay.
Now the worst thing about that was that training kit, bright orange as well. It was terrible. I remember walking in. You know what? How I would have at the time. I got offered a contract at Derby for a youth team.
Yeah.
Again, didn't want to move away. And my dad was like player coach at home. And I'd had the conversation about, would Hull be an option? And it was an option. However, I didn't want you're only there because of your dad. Because I knew
yeah.
So I made the bold decision. I would have loved to have gone to Hull, and I would have done. But it won't worth the stick you get off it. So
See,
I mean, decision I had a funny, and manager at the time called Tony Dawes was next player. He's one of
yeah,
the guys in the league, helped me so much, signed me, and started a youth team there. And you know what? It was, although I know the club gets a lot of stick, but what a time I had. Yeah, it was.
yeah. I can imagine that. I can imagine it's easy to give him stick, and if there's somebody like this as a Scunthorpe fan doing it across the river, he'll only be saying the same thing about Hull City, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's the nature of the beast, yeah. And it's one of the best things about football. In fact, I don't think there's enough banter or shithousery within football at times. Sometimes it's too clean. Sometimes, it's not worth it. But yeah, you've got to have it against opposing fans, especially when you're this close. Just reverting back a little bit then. Now, I spent my childhood every Sunday. I would probably go shopping with my mum or my dad or something like that. You couldn't do that, right? And if you did, it's a 3-hour round trip because you're getting stopped every 2 minutes. What was it like?
You know what? I think when he was in his prime, certainly, yeah, it was difficult. But as time went on, I don't know. A lot of people tend to, a lot of times. I'm laughing because I don't know why I found it funny, but I just love it when we're walking somewhere and we look up to and he go, you just like point at him and go, "You're Nick Barmby," and my dad has to go, yeah. It's almost like telling him it's so funny to watch, and I think it's brilliant. But yeah, it does get 95% of the time people are pretty quiet and nice about it. They're never bothered by it. My dad will always have a picture with someone or sign an autograph or have a chat with someone that's in awe.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to see. You maybe get 5% of people that maybe the funniest ones.
Go on.
Yeah, the funniest ones are when people come up to my dad and go, "I don't know who you are, but someone just said who you are, and I don't care who you are." The best ones.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah.
I can imagine that. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
All right. Cool.
I don't know why you felt the need to come and say that, but fair enough.
I think I already know the answer to this one, but I kind of get from this that it would be a no. But I've got this feeling like I just want to know: is there ever a point where he thought they didn't even ask for a picture? Has he ever had that sort of moment before? Like they didn't even notice what I was.
There's a really funny story about when my dad was at Middlesbrough, and Graham Lasso was there as well.
Oh, really?
When my dad was at Middlesbrough, they used to go to this Chinese restaurant on a Friday night. Sorry, if it was on a Saturday night, it was after a game. Him and my mum used to go.
Yeah, don't stop him in like that. So it was a Friday night.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, all night before a game, and so they used to go like all the time to this Chinese restaurant. And this woman who owned the restaurant absolutely loved my dad. She said she used to come in. She said, free drinks, whatever you want. I love you. You're absolutely brilliant. And it was about Graham Lasso just got sold from Middlesbrough, and my dad went into the restaurant and she came in. She went, "Oh, I'm so sorry you're leaving. I'm really, really sorry you're leaving." And she thought my dad was Graham Lasso. Whilst it was going on, she didn't even know it was Nick Barmby who was actually was. She thought it was Graham Lasso.
Oh, the guy was his mate.
Yeah. It was unbelievable. So yeah, I think like stories like that. I mean, I have to quite laugh at.
I bet he's got a storybook there, hasn't he? He must have a storybook. What was it like, for example, like, I've gone a little bit off track here, but like dating someone, taking them home, do they get intimidated meeting your dad or?
I mean, for me, I don't know. I mean, I've just got married actually. But
Congratulations, by the way, man.
Thank you. Yeah, it's going all right for a month. Yeah, it's not too bad.
You're not going to get them to explain out of here, right?
I can't move away. She does. I don't know what to do.
What's next? Yeah, I get that. So did your partner find it intimidating when first met him?
I mean, we were 14 when we got together.
Oh, okay.
That was like 10 years ago now. I remember when she came around for the first time. She knew who my dad was because she'd go to games and etc. But and I think at first she was a little bit like, like, I used to go watch play football. I don't really know what to do, a bit of nerves kind of then. I think that's well. I've been quite lucky I only had to do that the one time. So, yeah, it was all right for me.
Yeah, I can imagine. I think it was all right for you. So, I mean, 90% of men are football fans, right? Her dad, was he like a Hull City fan or a Nick Barmby fan? Was that like the awkward? Oh, it's Nick. Like,
I mean, kind of knew of each other in a way, actually. But
okay.
he's a footballing fan, but I release him all the time because he's one of these F1 fans. I just, it just doesn't do it for me. You're not an F1 fan. You are, right?
Gotta get that red cross quick, isn't it? Gotta get that red cross. Do you know what, mate? I wouldn't say enthusiast. I'm a novice F1 fan, is how I would word it, because I saw Drive to Survive and it got me involved. They laid it out perfectly for you to go, oh, I quite like that drive. Before you do it, you've got 4 favourite drivers, tuning on a Sunday to see if Daniel Ricciardo's crashed his car or not. So that's how I kind of got into it.
I'll take that back.
So you should. So that's cool. It's Scunthorpe United, under 18s. What was your goals for game record? How did you get on?
Well, the first year I did quite well, actually. I think I got about 13. I was only first year, so I didn't really start because obviously when you're in the youth team, they like to start the second years because it's their last year. They're trying to find a contract. So I probably had the best season that I've ever had in football. I don't know what happened that season, that first season. I mean, it was partly down to Tony Dawes, the manager. He was, and you don't see it anymore. And I miss this so much, an old school striker. Tony was like, he was one of those strikers who are not technically brilliant, can't do double scissors and take it around someone quick. It's all about working your bollocks off, pretty much, and fighting, scrapping to get the ball back, getting on the end of crosses, hold up play, being strong. And I was that type of player because I could never take anyone on, and I wasn't quick enough. I always had to.
You wasn't technically gifted, as you said.
No, I wasn't. I had to resort to like movement, and so working with Tony was amazing because he was like, I wanted to kind of play like he did when he played, because I was that type of personality of a footballer, and it was brilliant. I had the best season. I got myself really fit, and I loved it. I mean, Youth Cup. We played in the Youth Cup where we played the stadiums, and what an experience as a kid. It's just amazing. And
yeah, I can imagine that. And even though, like, we know, we'll get onto this in a second in terms of your career ending, but even what you've done so far, that's eclipsed what many of lads have done, because the percentages of doing well in the football game is so slim. You've lived a really good life so far in terms of what you've had. I mean, we know that it's an injury that's put you back. Do you mind talking about that, how it happened?
Yeah, that's fine. So basically it was, funny enough, we played the Youth Cup on Tuesday night, and we played against it was Grimsby, and we beat them 2. Yeah, I know, great derby it was. The Iron versus Grimsby, I loved it, and played really well, and I scored 2 goals. And came off most confidence I've ever had, like walking on a football pitch. Or things are going quite well here.
On my way, yeah. I'm on my way.
Training came. We had went back in training on Thursday, and we had a game on Saturday at Oldham away. And Tony brings me in his office and he goes, "We think there's going to be a scout there on Saturday at Oldham, and we think he's a scout for." Tromia Robos, who were played next in the Youth Cup. So I was like, right, okay. And he went, I don't want him to know that you're a striker. And I went, right. I was like, are you dropping me? And he went, no. I knew out on the wing on Saturday. I've never played out in my life. He would out to later. And like I said, I can't take players on. I'm not a tricky winger by all means. I don't even know how to do it. I've never played on the wing. And I just can't play it. So I went, but Tony, I've never played that. I don't know what to do. Went,
don't play on the wing. What's all that?
Yeah, no, that's what I was saying. It was like, you'll be fine, don't worry. I remember traveling down to Oldham thinking, I don't know what I'm going to do here. Like, this is going to be awful. And I don't even know when to get back or anything. I ain't got a clue. I'm just going to wing it. Literally. Yeah, I think that one there, and so we start the game, and it was going quite well. Ball come in. I take the ball, I just pass it back. I wouldn't even bother saying it. Try to take some ball. And
Keep ball.
it was, yeah. It's literally that's how I just want to spell. I was like, just keep the ball, don't give it away. Can't have a go again. That's fine. Don't worry. And then the ball came in, and I tried to take a touch on my back foot. And as I've done it, it was a real bobbly pitch. And I just cockled my ankle. And I felt it crack straight away. And my mate Les, who was centre half,
Les, 18-year-old Les.
His full name's Leslie.
What? I'm still Les. If you're listening, man, I'm sorry. But I mean, I've never heard it.
Full name's Leslie Saki. That's his full name.
Oh man, I've never heard it. An 18-year-old Les. Didn't think I'd see it.
Well, we had another lad. We had another lad in there as well. His full name is Fortunate Sito. Now, I'm not joking there.
I mean, there's jokes. Some jokes write themselves, right?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
And Scott's got stick.
Tony was thinking he was just sounding some weird names. He might intimidate the opposition on the team sheet.
Fortunate. Who's this guy? Fortunate.
Yeah. So Les runs up to me and he goes, he was like, "Are you all right?" And I said, "No." I said, "It cracked." And I felt like I was in agony. And he picked up my leg and he started stretching my calf. I go, "What are you doing?" And he went, "You got cramp?" And I went, "No, I haven't." I said, "Put my foot down." Like, he literally just dropped it on the floor. Like, agony. Scunthorpe United, obviously, our great medical facilities that we have. We only had one pair of crutches. Our other centre half, Charlie, had dislocated his toe about 5 minutes prior to that. So we didn't have any more crutches. So I had to walk off the pitch with a broken foot. I didn't know I'd broken at that point.
Yeah.
I come in, and I come back in, I couldn't walk, and physio said, "Dad, come back in Monday, see how you are. We'll take it from there." I went, "All right then." Over the weekend, couldn't walk. Yeah. I come in Monday morning, physio says, "How is it?" I was like, "I can't walk." So I've definitely done something. When you aren't broke it, don't worry, you're fine. I went, "Daz, I'm telling you now, I've done something because I can't even put pressure on it." And he goes, "Right, well, we'll go to A&E, but I don't think we need to." I went, "We definitely do." Went to A&E, got an X-ray. The doctor turns around and he goes, "Yeah, you've got a fracture in your foot." Physio sat next to me and he goes, "Yeah, I thought you did, George." And I went, "No, you didn't."
Yeah, I know.
Telling you it all weekend. So you've been telling
Run it off.
What are you on about?
You'll run it off, don't worry.
I went, "Wow, let's get the magic spray out with the sponge."
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah, wet paper towel, I'll sort you out, kid. So
yeah, basically, it was just standard grade. And I should have basically, where I'd broke it in the fifth metatarsal was an area I don't get blood flow. So they said, "Oh, can you need an operation, you just need to put the screw in and you'll be fine. Back 12 weeks and you'd be back playing." So I was like, "All right." Obviously, I was a bit devastated. I was going into forward, I was doing well. And
peak confidence.
Yeah. I had the operation and about 6 weeks later, after I was still doing that physio, I was starting agony here, like really, really bad. And they went, "Oh, we'll go get a second opinion." So I went and got a second opinion. Specialist just kind of looked to me, they just went, "Yeah, it's in the wrong place. It's not been done right, unfortunately. It was like, you will really get back to, how you..."
It's still long now.
Yeah. So I was obviously gutted, but I had a few options that he said to me. He said, "We can leave it and you probably got about 30% chance of it healing, or we can just replace the screw and you probably got about 40% chance of it healing, or we can take the screw out, replace it, do a full reconstruction and all that jazz. You might get to 60% recovery." So I went for that one. And this was like the start of me looking when I knew probably football wasn't going to be the answer. That was when I went in for this off. I didn't want to be put to sleep. I don't know what it was, man. I was absolutely petrified about it. I was like, I don't like that feeling of being unconscious and you're in charge of it.
Oh, you're not even there though. How do you know what's going on?
Well, I know, but I just didn't fancy it at all.
Fair enough.
So he turns around to me and he goes, well, you can be awake if you want. And I was like, well, what happens? And he went, well, we numb you from the waist down. We give you what women have for days, an epidural. And I went, all right, yeah, we'll go for that. And he said, do you want me to sedate you as well so you don't know anything? I went, no, I want you to keep it fully conscious. So he did. I went in, I got numbed from the waist down, and I watched the whole thing. And I was like, I know people, when I tell that story, people go like, well, you watched it. Man, I was in awe of what they were doing. And this team in an operating theatre, I thought, this is class. Like, there's not many people get to see inside an operating theatre.
And like that, right? To see the minuscule of where things can go right and go wrong. So I'm assuming this is what's made you get into what you're doing now, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly the reason. And
so
when we got finished with that, he said, I don't think you're probably going to get back to full fitness. And I didn't at all. I was way off it because of the pain, especially during the very, times I tried to play it. And I just was like, well, I know exactly where I want to be. I've seen it. It looks brilliant. So I did. I went and, applied for a job as just, they're brilliant at what they do. But I applied for a job as a healthcare assistant in theatres and did that for 2 years and then started to do my degree and now I'm nursing. So, yeah.
So that's where you're at now. That one thing is taking you full cycle. You've gone from watching it to watching it again, right?
Yeah.
So in terms of exacting, because nursing's a bit of a broad phrase, should we say? What is it specifically you do in way of nursing?
Yeah, so I worked in theatres for 4 years. Loved it. Absolutely amazing. Long hours though. I mean, I was doing 14-hour shifts, but it was brilliant. It's where I learned my absolute peak of knowledge.
Yeah.
And then from there, I went into radiology, which was fun. I enjoyed that. That was good because in terms of sports injuries and things like that, I mean, obviously it interested me through sports, seeing imaging and stuff like that was brilliant. And then I moved over to general practice, which is where I'm at now. So I'm at a GP surgery in town, and it's just amazing. I love it. We're part of what we call an SAS scheme. So we're like patients who they're like banned patients from surgeries. So could be prisoners just coming out of prison, or maybe violent, aggressive patients in the past. But then we also accept, patients who've not done anything wrong, and just to register for doctors. So
yeah,
brilliant. I love it, and I will never do anything else. I will.
So I was just about to ask you, like, what's next? It's just going to continue doing what you're doing, or is there a development path as to what you can do after that?
Yeah, there's a good road. In medicine now is brilliant. There's so many opportunities. It's just great. I'll never be out of a job. I'm looking for. I'm in an industry where I will never be out. And we can advance. We can become advanced nurse practitioners. We're diagnosing, prescribing, things like that. There's so many opportunities. You can become a specialist nurse, go and work in different specialties or anything like that. I was always set on going back to the ultrasound and the sonography type thing. So I don't know, maybe one day I may go and do that, but I love where I'm at now. I just love the people I work with. I've got a great team, and I've never known anything like it. Actually, yeah, it's just you get up in the morning and you get that buzz to go to work. It's nice.
And in terms of correlations from what you used to do, you've still got the team environment, right? Everyone looks for each other and you all have to work for each other. And if you don't, then there's a failure at the end of it. None of you want to fail, right? So you've still got all that together. That's my kind of understanding of it. So if you could wake up tomorrow, foot's perfect, you can play football again, what would you do? Would you try and go back into it, or just stick being a nurse?
No, I'd choose nursing.
Would you? Well, yeah. That just says a journey being on, right? So
I think because this is, I think going kind of back to my family type thing, I'm putting my own stamp on the world.
Yeah.
It's my route, and this is my passion. You know, yeah, I enjoyed football. I had some great memories and times, but it clearly wasn't my passion.
Yeah.
You know, and at the time, I was very much under the thought of I want to be a footballer and nothing else. But I've never been exposed to anything else.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, watching my dad, watching Jack, I never knew anything else. You know, and that's why I assumed I had to go and do.
Sorry for interrupting this episode, but I did just want to say thank you to anybody who is watching or listening right now. And wherever you are watching or listening, please hit that subscribe button. It really does help. Now, podcasting is not that easy, okay? But it is made easier when you do have support of people around you. And I'm very fortunate to say I do have the support of Anlaby Park Pub. These are based in the local area, and if you have been before, I think you'll vouch for me when I say they are extremely welcoming. Not just to you, but to our canine friends as well. They're a dog-friendly pub. They've got live sports on over the weekend and through the week, and they've just recently got a new kitchen as well. This new kitchen means that they can bring better food, and it's available from Wednesdays to Sundays. One of the things that I'd like to recommend is the Yorkshire pudding wrap. It's probably one of the meanest Yorkshire pudding wraps in the area. So if you haven't been there before, get yourself down there. Meet Craig, meet Claire. They're absolutely amazing. Thanks a lot for listening again.
I can imagine there's some Hull City fans obviously watching this now thinking, well, can we talk about Hull City and your dad for a little bit? So I'm just going to go a little bit down the route of that in terms of, has your dad give you any of these bits before in terms of who was his favourite manager? You know, did he ever say that?
Yes, I think he talks a lot about oh my lord, I forgot his name.
Where was it? We'll just try and work it out.
Oh no,
It's not Phil Brown, is it?
It's not Phil Brown. Well, I did very like Phil Brown. It was his manager at Liverpool. I forgot his name.
I don't know how far back it is. Football knowledge, it's sometimes is poor. Mulby? Did it be Mulby?
No, I can't remember who it was now. Let's just say Peter Taylor to be said.
Yeah, Peter Taylor's amazing, right?
Yeah.
He got it all kick-started 2003, was it? He was the guy. He came in. His dad came in a couple of years later. Yeah, I really liked Peter Taylor. Big fan of Marco Silva and also now Liam Rosenior. So, are you a Hull fan, by the way?
I am a Hull fan, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, did you still go to the games?
Yeah, it's been nice. When kind of a young came in, me and my dad have gone religiously at, the home games. We've gone every week. Like, it was really nice to be back,
Oh, nice.
It's just been great. We've loved it. We've absolutely loved it. I mean, I've always been a Hull fan.
Yeah.
Brother's not really a football fan in general. He doesn't really support anyone. My dad's a massive Hull fan, obviously. So me and my dad tend to go to the games. So yeah, I'm really hoping for a good season next year. I'm seeing good things.
Yeah. So did you see the video the other day about with Liam Rosenior the speech? What a speech! I saw one guy tweet, "Can we have that as our alarm, please, for when we wake up?" Can you imagine waking up to everyone?
You need someone like that. And I think Liam knows obviously what he's doing. I mean, for me to see him play from when I was younger, like my dad in the same team as my dad, and then seeing my manager, I think it's just been amazing for him. Yeah, and you can see how much he cares, and he's so passionate about the club. He's generally wants the best, and he's generally cares so much about his club. And his assistant as well, funny enough, was my manager at Derby.
Oh, was he?
Walker, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I think obviously they met each other when Liam
Derby
and Justin had obviously worked as well, and now he's first team coach at Hull. So I couldn't believe it when he brought him in. I was like, wow, that's blast from the past.
That is crazy. So do you get to I'm assuming you get to go in the back, right? Or do you literally do it? Are you doing it old school, like just sat in the middle of the south stand, just chilling?
No, to be fair, Agil has been really, really nice to my dad, and he loves my dad being around the place, and Tim Kessler as well.
Yeah, and
he always says we go and sit, we're not in their box, but we go and sit in the West Ham bit. We just love going to watch the games. It's just brilliant. It's nice.
That's meant that. So obviously his favourite manager was Peter Taylor. We've nailed that part down.
Yeah.
Favorite player he played with? Who does he not shut up about? Oh, he was mint. I don't know how your dad speaks, but he was world class. Who would he say?
You'd probably say Gaza.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so. Well,
Yeah.
it does say that. Gaza.
Did he just say like, "I just made me feel silly"? Like, not different levels.
He said you could never see someone look so effortless but look so good at the same time. Like, and you see videos. I mean, it was obviously a bit before my time, but when I see videos, it's just unbelievable, isn't it? Like,
I have this thing in football, and talking about football, I try not to talk about stuff I haven't seen firsthand. So, like, I only started watching football from around 2003, 2004. So, I try not to speak about anything before that. So, when people say, "Oh, what did you think to that?" I'm like, I didn't see it. I can't judge it. And plus, 2003, 2004, I was like, what, 13? So, my football knowledge at the time and understanding how a game was played properly was very poor. Like, to what it is now, he was good when he just scored a goal,
Yeah.
And that's it. You don't only care about the goal scorer. Because now there's so much more that goes into it. You understand the game so much more. You more so, probably, with being around so many like first team footballers and whatever it was, the amount of people you've been around growing up.
And I think that's what you can get. Like, if you look at the type of football Liam's playing now, it's a very much, play up from the back, keep the ball. If it's not on, go the other way.
Yeah.
I know that as a generic football fan, that can seem pretty boring, and that's very much like, get it forward, get it forward. And that's fair enough, and I understand that. But I can see what Liam's trying to do is, and he's right, I've heard him say in interviews where he goes, if Hull's got the ball, the opposition team can't score. Well, that's very fair enough. They're dominating games doing it. You saw that last season. And it's working. One of that great, unbeaten streak, and it was brilliant. So, yeah, no, it's not the most exciting football to watch, really, but it's certainly the most effective.
When it's done, yeah, exactly. And when it's done right, it does look good. People only get annoyed when we don't score from it. You got to go back to what Cardiff last year, was it? Away, where we got caught playing out from the back and we concede, and then all of a sudden, I was like, why are we just going long? Because we're going to go long to Oscar, who's 5'4". Do you know what I mean? Pick your battles, right? Yeah. I trust Alfie Jones playing out from the back than I do Oscar trying to win them headers. But that's without trying to slate people. But that's kind of that works. It's about understanding football, and the amount of times I've bickers with people on Twitter when they're just like, "Why can't we just go long?"
Yeah, you got to
understand it. Yeah,
you got to work with what's in front of you, haven't you? And, I think it's been, especially towards back in last season, I thought it was brilliant. It was really good to watch out for. Yeah, I went to Luton away actually, and what a nice club they are, Luton, and they look brilliant. Like, I went, and it was just all the fans were so nice. And you know what? I was really, really happy for them that they went.
Yeah,
because they deserved it after all the stuff they'd been through. The leagues. What a great story for them.
And I think everybody wrote them off last year as well. I'd say Nathan Jones left, after not making it to the Premier League the first time around. I think he left midway through this season. Yeah. So for them to come back and do it again was brilliant, I thought. And I think that everyone's kind of like underdog team, aren't they? There's going to be so many people rooting for him. It shadows of us when we went up in 2007, 2008, innit? People are just they're going to be the underdog story. What was your dad's favourite goal? Does he say?
Oh, I think it's not just one. I think it's two, and it's the playoff ones, both semi-finals.
Yeah,
I was saying that. I still think it was Richie Garcia's goal, but he's played.
Speaking of claiming goals,
put it that way.
Speaking of claiming goals, who else's goals is he trying to claim from a certain England 5-1 game?
Yeah, that goal from Gerrard. He says it comes off his thigh. I mean, I don't know. You can see the camera in it. I think it brushes his shorts. So I don't know if that counts. I'm not too sure.
No, I mean, I love the guy, but you can't take that away from Gerrard.
Yeah. He's clutching at straws there, isn't he? I mean, it was all right. It was well enough just playing in the game. You don't need to take credit for a goal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he had a great game. And I'm 100% saying if I see him, I'll say great finish. I'm going to say that was a great finish. That I still don't know why he didn't get given. um, oh yeah, we'll talk about favourite time things and stuff like that. Who did he hit? Who did he? Whether it be referee, manager, certain player he came up against. Who did he hit?
Me.
Nah, don't be so dumb. Who was it? Like,
Oh, I don't think he hated anyone.
he doesn't seem like the guy to hit people.
No, he's not. He's very not like that. All to be fair to him, he was very passionate on the pitch. He got Abdullah face sent off once. If you look at how tall he is compared to my dad, I remember when they squared up to each other. I think my dad was up to his knee.
Yeah, exactly.
Like he got him set off, but yeah, I don't think there was anyone that he didn't like or didn't really get on with. He just was very passionate on the pitch. Well, like I say, in his private life, for instance, he was so private. He had football in his private life, and there's never really, and that's the good thing about him, really, because he's never one for, showing off and for everything he's done, he's just so humble.
Yeah, I can imagine so.
My mum's kept saying humble though.
Oh really?
Yeah, my mum's the rock of the family.
Well, everybody always says that behind a strong man there's an even stronger woman, right? So is that the case? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. 100%.
She's done a stellar job then. She's done a stellar job. In way of him ending his career then, did he leave the game with any regrets? Shouldn't have made a certain move or like...
Do you know what? I don't think he'd ever say it. But what I think is, and I know I have a lot of regret about it, is in not having a testimonial at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he deserved one. He was very, very close off, and obviously, unfortunately, what happened. But I was devastated for him. He'd left Premier League when he still could have played Premier League.
100%.
And he made a big sacrifice to come and play for his hometown club, and help him get up the leagues, and that's exactly what he did. And yeah, I was devastated. He never really got the send off he deserved, and that hurts me sometimes. Seeing everything he did for the club, and he never got that big send off that he deserved.
And your dad being the way he is and the way you've spoken him being, he wouldn't say that, and nor would he ask for that, right?
No, he'd never ask for that, and he probably never want, because he, like I say, he's not. But I remember seeing Andy Dawson's, and he was brilliant, and I thought, God, I wish my dad would have had it.
Yeah,
because I know that he would have got a really good response, and
so I'm going to start a petition now. Nick Barmby's testimonial game. You and Jack are down to play, right?
Oh,
you two down. I'm sure Adjan and the guys will get involved as well. So we've already got about 7 or 8 players there. Who do we play against?
I'll definitely. Who would he play against? Good question. Who would he play against? Watford, if he scored them 2 goals.
Yeah, I love that one. Get him back. Let's have a go. Yeah. Was it Darius Henderson? Was it Darius Henderson?
Yeah,
yeah.
There's Danny Shittu at the back.
Oh, look at that name.
That header.
Yeah.
Well, did it? Walk up. Yeah. Darius Henderson came to Scunny when I was there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Did you remember my dad, stopping you from getting promoted, did you?
Yeah, I did say he says. Do you know what else was in our team as well? Ivan Toney.
Was he?
Yeah. Came on loan from Newcastle. And literally I blink, and the next minute he's banging goals in left right centre for Brentford. We couldn't believe it.
Wow. Was he using you to put bets on, or?
No, yeah, I don't think so. He would have betted on me scoring goals.
Yeah. Under 18 school for that. George Barmby, he's got a bit. Oh no, they put him on the wing tonight. You've got no chance.
Yeah.
Catch out.
Yeah. The odds for me to get injured were high, so you should have put me on that.
Yeah, I can imagine. On the wing, he won't get touched. No other play out there, is he? Oh, a bit of grass, he's cockled over it. Damn it. So one of the big things that kind of gets me, and I actually get annoyed about it because, and I know many other people did at the time, your dad, when he was manager of Hull City, he took over the role in like a caretaker role, Yeah, exactly. I'm all over the place, mate. I'll be honest with you. It's what, quarter to 10 right now. So yeah, I'm all over the place right now. But your dad took over the role in a caretaker position, and the way that ended, it kind of blindsided the fans. Unless you was in the know, it just came out of nowhere. And we was all like, kind of looking forward to Nick Barmby, the guy who stuck us all up all the leagues. We came close to going up, didn't we? We just missed out on the playoffs.
Yeah,
And I'm sure he played like a 4-2-3-1 or something like that. And if I remember it right, he was fairly new to Hull. Hull didn't really play anything like that. So we played like a 4-2-3-1. I really liked it. I thought it was really good, but we just fell a little bit short. How did he feel on the back of that?
You know what?
Do you think Jenny over?
I was devastated for him because the plan for my dad to take on a job was never the plan. You know, it wasn't the plan. Funny enough, my brother's manager at the time, Warren Joyce, he was supposed to take it. And Dad was part of the player coaching staff. Obviously, Nigel left. Warren Joyce was coming to sign the contract to take the job. And then the next thing, he rings up and it pulls out like last minute. So my dad's in the room and they just look at him and go, "Can you take it? Like, we've got no one else. We don't know what to do." He didn't want to retire then. He didn't want to like hang up his boots at all, but he knew for the goodness of the club that he had to. And it was such serious. So he took up the caretaker. He never had it in his mind to become a manager. It wasn't something that interested him at all. But like I say, he did it because he loved the club and he didn't want them to be managerless. You know, So he took it on, and then I remember it was such a great side that he had. I mean, you know, Cameron Stewart in form, Josh Keane, Mike Fryer, Robbie Corran, you know, players like that. And it was just brilliant. Yeah, exactly. Obviously still playing, and it was just, I remember him so proud for his first ever. He never managed before, and you know, he won quite a lot of games, and he got. Well, if you actually look at my dad's points record, like if you actually look at the points my dad won, it would have got him up last season.
It's crazy. It's absolutely. Am I right by saying that he had the likes of James Chester, Robbie Brady, and stuff like that? So that when we came down that year, I think Nigel, I forget his said Pearson. Yeah, when he came down, he picked 4 really good players from out of Man U's academy, didn't he? He did a stellar job there in term. I think it was Brady, Dudgeon, Corey Evans, and Chester, wasn't it?
Well, funny enough, that actually came from my dad.
Oh, really?
He comes to go watch my brother at Man United, and they
no way.
Then my dad went straight back to March and went, "There's 4 players you should get here." He said, "Really, really decent," and he did. Got me all in a loan, and what a loan that they were. They were brilliant.
Yeah, they were so good. I was good at Joe because Joe looked a player, and he just struggled with injury after injury after injury. I think he's at Celtic now, isn't he? He's doing some form of scouting role, I think it is, at Celtic. I only know that because my partner's a Celtic fan. But, yeah, she's grown up with. Yeah, me too. But I've grown up with. She's grown up with Celtic her whole life. You know, she's always been there. The days of Emmerich Larsson and stuff like that. So, she'd seen some really good days there. So that's enough about your dad, I think. Let's move on to you. You've answered a couple of questions. I was going to say, who were some of the names that you played with that have gone on to make it?
And you know what? There wasn't actually any of us in my.
You've gone flop.
Yeah. You know what? I think that, you know, it was such a shame when you look at Scunthorpe now. I mean, what a shame. You know, it's devastating to see such a good club like, you know, be in the position they're in. And don't get me wrong, it was probably the wrong time. When we was there, they had a brilliant team. I mean, their striker at the time when I was there was Paddy Madden. He was just
he's back for fun, didn't he?
Scoring every game. He was just brilliant. He was one of the best strikers I've seen. Literally, he was so good. Like, you could get anywhere near him, and no one could. So it was really hard, difficult to be. Don't get me wrong, I generally think even if the injury wouldn't have happened, I don't think I would have made it anywhere. You know, I'm not.
What says that? What says that?
Because I was nowhere near Paddy. I was nowhere near Paddy Madden. I was way off.
He's a goal scorer. Like, you have different types of strikers. You know that, right? Not every striker is a goal scorer.
you kind of know. I'm not one of these that go, I would have made it, but I got injured.
You're just staying humble. It's that it just runs in the blood, right? It's just got humble blood.
Yeah, but I generally don't think I did. I mean, Paddy at the time was on fire, and it was just how he didn't get a move after that season that he had. Like, I generally don't. Yeah, I mean, he's a stop on now.
I think you still see his name pop up, don't you? Like on watching Soccer Saturday. Oh, Paddy Madden scored again.
Yeah. He literally, I don't know how he didn't get a move. Like, he was just insane. And yeah, I don't think. I mean, I never really got a chance, and I don't think I deserved one because of how the first team were performing. To be honest, they were brilliant, and then we left, and then a few years later, they're starting to kind of going down the leagues, and it's so sad to see. But a lot of the players left.
All right, Tony Dawes has been in charge recently as well, and he's had the number one job in the last couple of years. Is that right?
Yeah. I can't remember who the manager was. They left, and I can't remember if they got sacked. And Tony stepped in, and I think he did all right, Tony. But you always know you're going to get Tony's always going to get the best out of it because of the way he is. He's brilliant. You never want to upset.
I remember listening to him on Humberside, because when you're waiting for our news to come on, you have to listen to theirs sometimes, don't you?
Grimsby is
great. Mariners are lost again. Great. Let's just. And by the time you get home, but Liam Rossini's just coming on as you're getting out of your car. Oh, cheers, Liam. Thanks for that. Appreciate it. Let's just warm up with this stuff first. But yeah, I've heard him a couple of times. He seemed proper old school. And I don't think you need to give details on that. When you say someone seems old school, you kind of just get what they mean, don't you? That kind of moves me on to like who was your favourite coach? Are we going with Dawes?
Yeah, Tony was. Well, I don't know if I can say that or just to know about this. I'm not too sure.
He might dodge you in the tunnel if you see him. No, you said Dawes, mate. You said Dawes.
Do you know what? Justin was brilliant, but I have to say, Tony got the best out of me because of his. We were very similar people, we was on each. We kind of he knew what he wanted from me, and I knew what I wanted from him. So it was just he turned me into like a player that had confidence, was played to my strengths. Actually, is the best way to describe it. He made me improve on my strengths that I could, actually affect a game, and I loved working with him. You know what? He's the way of the world now. It's obviously a bit more laid back. There's no more bulletins anymore. There's no more.
Hair dryer treatment, as they say.
But if it wasn't for that in the early start, it wouldn't have been half the player I was when I was probably at my best.
Yeah,
definitely. You needed that. It got you going, and it wanted you to improve. Yeah,
so
it was brilliant.
I know you said that you think you might not have made it, but by the sounds of things, if you used to ever think you was going to make it, it'd have been under Dawes. Dawes got you thinking that way, playing that way.
Yeah, definitely.
And as an under 18, that's all you can ask for is someone to keep that dream alive.
Yeah, and that's football. It's all about opinions. I think if Tony would have moved up to the first team, I think he would have told me with it. I do, because we had many conversations. There were times when I'd fell out of love with football, and Tony was always the one that kept me going, like in the football club.
Yeah.
And he saw something special in me that, no one had really seen before. So it was really nice, like, that relationship you had with each other, because it certainly had a massive impact on me. And then, I think if Tony would have gone up, I think, he would have given me a year's pro and see how I did.
Someone to give you a chance.
Yeah.
No, I get that. That's good. So there's always like a character in every dressing room, isn't there? Do you remember any of the characters from the place you've played?
Yeah, I was pretty lucky because we had quite all the lads were from here and everywhere. We had lads from down south, from the north, from everywhere. So it was really good as well because we used to do like north and south.
Nice.
In training sessions, say we were a good laugh. There was a chap that we mentioned earlier, Leslie Zaki, and it's a great name.
Did he call himself Les with a Z, or was it Les with an S?
No, it was with an S to recognise. Yeah, I said it out. Yeah, great, dude. And he was like, we were really close. He's from Reading, so I used to still in contact with him now. He's a good lad, but we just got each other. You know what I mean? He was really good ballet. He was just really funny. And,
I bet he's Nails as well, right? A name like Leslie playing at centre back, you've got to be Nails.
yeah, he you know what? He was he was straight. He got signed as a striker, and he's big guy, and he was like, bloody hell, this guy's massive. Like, he's stacked. And then I said, I just got injured, so Tony said, let's keep playing at the back. And he went, I've never played at the back before. Played at the back. Wow. You've never seen anything like it. He was the best centre half, I'm going to say. So from then, he got moved to centre half, and in his second year, played at centre half. But his changing room battle was really good. I mean, you know, he used to do a lot of things that you can't do nowadays.
So, did you have any fines? I say this because I hosted another podcast before, not a Hull City one, a different type of podcast. And
Right.
I was speaking to a non-league manager, and he was telling me about some of the fines they used to have. He said when people signed from you, used to give them a little duck, like a little rubber duck.
Yeah.
And wherever they went, they had to take that little rubber duck with them. So if they went to the shower, they had to take it with them and stuff like that. And if they did, and people would try and steal each other's rubber duck, and if you didn't have it, you got fined. Was there anything like that going on? Duck, but...
No, maybe not. We had fines. We had stupid fines, like some of them were ridiculous. Like if you put your right shin pad on first, rather than your left,
right.
if you were superstitious, you get fined. Like, it was only because we were out of great money, obviously. Youth team level. So it was like five quid, sort of £4 fines. Whereas our yellow cards now were because some of them were not getting hardly any money at all. Our fines like 50 quid. That was like all of our wage.
So right. Played for free this week.
Yeah, it was like, ref, please don't book me. I can't afford it.
Sorry, I'll get subbed. I'll sub myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we used to have we trained at a school, and we used to get bullied by these school kids, because we were using their PE changing room, which was a portal cabin, as our changing room, and that's where we were based in a school called St. Lawrence in Scunthorpe. And it was just crazy. There was like kids walking around and just shouting abuse at us. And
Around the back having a cig.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, and it was just unbelievable. Like, we're 16, 17, we're scared of these like 8 and 1-year-old kids.
Did you have to take your kit to the side of the pitch as well? I can't leave it in that. You have to take my kit to the pitch.
And they were saying, "Oh, we won't be able to slot the change rooms." It was like, you will block the changing room. The thing is,
the kid's got an iron bar on the back anyway. He's prizing his way in. He'll make a door.
Yeah, that was an experience, but it was good, and it was old school again. You know, it's none of this. It was proper old school football. You know, it wasn't like this pristine training grounds, and and you've got everything done for you. It was very much you have to do everything, for yourself. Cleaning the pros' boots, first team boots, cleaning the changing rooms, making sure all the balls are clean, having to go wash all them. The academy nowadays. And this isn't even that. Look at me, I'm talking like I'm from years ago, but literally, even in the short space of time, academies don't do that anymore. And that's proper, humbling. That's where you should start. The academies get all these youth team players. They'll get everything done for them.
I used to listen to a podcast with you ever heard of the Magic Sponge? It was Jimmy Bullard, Rob Beckett, and Ian Smith. Ian Smith's a comedian from Hull, actually. They all did this podcast together, and they used to get I think the biggest name they had on it was Bentley. So that it wasn't like your massive name footballers. It was all like League One, League Two footballers, and they talk about growing up and how they had to do all that sort of stuff, and it makes you like that. And when I mix that with, have you seen the All or Nothing series on Amazon Prime? And you see the kit man for Man City and stuff like that. But I'm staying in lady when I say this. Dream job would be a kit man. I'd absolutely love it. I'll say a kit man. I'd love that. Just in around the guys all day. Gives you socks, lads. I'll take them.
Well, I was thinking of getting a Hull kit this year, but I don't think I'll fit in it because it's Kappa. And they're quite tight. and I think, oh, I'm not even going to try it.
I don't know about you, George, but I'm currently between an XL and double XL, mate. So they're not going to be flattering, are they?
We played the Catholic game when I was at Derby at his time, and I thought, oh my lord, like I can't. I love a whole city kit. I always get a shirt every year. So I love the black and blue. It's unique, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, the team. And like I love last season's kit.
With the white stripe? A little thin white stripe. Yeah, the black number one, the white in it, yeah. I liked all the shirts last year. My favourite was the white one with the little red and amber, red and yellow, whatever. It didn't look completely amber, did it? Because of the colours it was against. But I liked that. I loved it. The blackout one, yeah, that was smart. I'm still waiting to see what the second and third's going to be this year, aren't we? So, come on then. Let's go down to Hull City then. Predictions for this season coming up. Where we're going to finish?
You know what? It's going to be a tough year. You've seen the teams in the league. Wow. What I think it's going to be such a brilliant championship this year.
Yeah.
I'd love to say playoffs. But it's going to be hard to get there because the teams in it. Well, yeah.
I think injuries play a big part, right? If we can stay injury free, it's the key to any sort of team. Look how well Arsenal are doing in the Premier League. You can have that core players, core team who've got that winning mentality and that habit of winning. You can have that going forward, but as soon as you lose a couple of people like that, you then start to develop, and you start having a bad game, you could develop that losing habit.
That's the thing. Yeah, I mean, you gain momentum. You know, you're winning games, and then bang, get a few injuries. I mean, we were so unlucky with injuries last season, weren't we? And, you know, like Connolly come in and you saw, you know, look sharp, look really good. You think, oh, this is exciting, and then you know, unfortunately, probably gets injured, and then you're back to square one again.
I genuinely think we climb that league if he stays fit. I genuinely think that. Because he was a dog, and we didn't have a dog. We needed a dog up there. We needed that dog. Like you said, that hard-working striker. He sets the press off. The closest thing we had to that was Regan Slater, when he often got put up front, didn't he? And he set off the press. I remember Liam saying after a game one time, he moved Regan up top with Tete. So Tete is still trying to learn the role. So Regan's there talking him through the games. Like, Regan's a centre mid. Like, do you mean? But, I'm really looking forward to it. I hope we can get playoffs as well. Who's your favourite Hull City player of your whole time in terms of from the moment you started watching Hull City?
Oh, that's a good question.
You can't say your dad.
No, I didn't think I could. Obviously, I'm biased because being an ex-striker, I used to love watching Mike Fryer.
Yeah.
Mike Fryer. However, I love Andy Dawson. I don't know what it is, but I love him.
I like him. I like him as well. I like him. And there was a spell last season, I think he was under Shotter actually, where he got put up front. I was like, he's doing everything that nobody else does. Like, I think he won every header, you know, and he won a header just to flick on. You're like, well, they go, oh, I won it though. I won it. Yeah, but you know, there's no one behind you. Why knock it on?
Okay.
Yeah, he looks like a player, doesn't he? And now he's got confidence because he didn't have any at Watford, did he?
No, but yeah, I think in terms of play where you go like, wow, like Giovanni is probably, you know, what a player. Just
what did your dad say about JJ Kocher?
Oh, Dad can't get enough of just
not.
Then he traded it, so it was just ridiculous. It seems absolutely ridiculous.
Just makes it everyone.
Just like effortless, just absolute class.
Yeah, I remember when that came in.
Oh, what a player he was! What a player!
Yeah, I could probably give you 100 guesses, and you wouldn't get my favourite player because I don't think I've ever heard anybody else say it. And he was so short-lived words, but Brian Hughes.
I thought I was going to say Peter Almosi.
No, interesting fact about Peter Almosi. My best friend's mum ran over his foot in Asda the day he signed. Not in a car, but on a wheelchair.
No.
Yeah. It could have gone so bad. But
that's why they play great again.
Yeah, probably been that. But there's been
right. Usually,
I loved him. Yeah, he came from Birmingham, didn't he? And he brought that little bit of experience, and you could tell his finesse on the ball and the way he read the game. He was levels above everybody else, and then to top it off, he scored the absolute worldie against Southampton and late into the season when we got promoted. Current favourite player then? Is it Tufan?
I can't. I'd love to say Tufan, but I have to say Louis.
Louis Coyle.
Yeah.
So throughout last season, I was very hit and miss with him. I'd give him a bit of stick on Twitter, but I also took it back as well because I feel like I don't know where to go with this, because he's as good as he is bad sometimes, and it's really frustrating to watch because his energy and work hard is always there. That is, you can never question that. But sometimes you go, oh, but why did you do that? You know, and you get that with him. And I don't know if you've seen it a couple of times, you start seeing it all the time when it's not even true. That's the thing you kind of get with football, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I love Louis Spitz because I can see how passionate he is, you know, and he really does love the club. And I think I don't know, I just love what he does. But I think he's not played in the Championship very long, but I think he's done extremely well, like, to get to where he is. Because he's had to work his backside off to get where he is. You know, again, he's
not technically gifted. Apart from that cross, that whip on that cross, he's got a hell of a ball.
Yeah, he has. That one, it's not even when he's in the corner either, is it? It's like nearly out. It's crossed.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's worked so hard. I think he deserves everything he gets, because he's top lad.
Fair enough. Well, I'll wrap it up there, because like I said, I wrote a lot of questions. The last question was, who do you support? But I think it's pretty obvious. So on that note, I'll call it an evening. George, I'm not going to lie, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure. We've probably spoke a couple of times over message in the build up to this, and we've never spoke on the phone or anything like this before. And I felt I had a bit of a decent bounce there. So that was good, man. Thank you for everybody listening. And if you did enjoy that, please subscribe, whatever channel you're listening or watching on. Thanks a lot.